That's a mess. Disturb the roots. Whoa, we just disturbed the roots.
That old soil ain't playing no games.
Hello, welcome to Yellow Door Urban Homestead. I am Asia and I'm an urban gardener growing in a small space out in my backyard. But today we're in the quick tent greenhouse, y'all. It is April the 5th. Today is actually our last predicted frost date. Now, we do have a 34-degree night coming up and I think maybe like a 38. 34 can turn into 32 very easily, right? But I am thinking, and I did this last year, I planted my zucchinis and I think some squash too early. So we have some very newly sprouted zucchini and squash coming up, and we have some that haven't come up yet. But we also have a bed that we're not planting right now because I just put the meal grinds in it. And when I touch it just on the top, I can feel the heat. So if you remember in fall, if you're not new here, in fall I planted into warm meal grinds. Nothing bad happened. However, I'm not going to try that again. Basically, they're breaking down. Anyway, what we're going to do today is plant these into these two beds right here. The bed closer to the door, the lower one, that's gonna have my one roselle in it. And I think I plan to put a zinnia in it, right? So we're gonna put our squash and zucchini in here today. And then there are other things that go in the bed with it, like marigolds, I think. And I think maybe nasturtiums go in the beds too. So we're also gonna plant those today. Now, I'm not 100% sure that this is going to work and that the nasturtiums and marigolds aren't going to die. We also have basil that goes in this bed. Oh, but this bed that I'm sitting on is supposed to be tomatoes. So we're not gonna put the basil and stuff in. Basil and marigolds with tomatoes. That's what's gonna be in here for the summer. These squash, I doubt, are gonna make it all the way through summer. They didn't make it all the way through summer. Last year, the squash vine board did end up finding them. But before it found them, I got a nice amount of harvest from these, right? So that's why I'm doing it again this year. So we are gonna do 4 nasturtiums in here, basically 6 nasturtiums, because we are putting things, okay, hold please. I'm sorry. I've changed this and I didn't actually write it down. Before we put the tomatoes in here, we're gonna try to grow a round of zucchini or squash. So we're gonna do 3 Romanesco in this one here, and we're gonna do probably just 3 in this one too. And those are the only ones that we're planting out today. But really quick, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Quick Tent. Thank you, Quick Tent, for sponsoring this video. So the greenhouse that we are sitting in as it's about to rain, thankfully protected me from the rain, but I can still get out into the garden, is a 12 by 7 by 7. So it is 12 feet long, it is 7 feet wide and 7 feet tall. I have had this greenhouse for, I want to say 3 years now, 3 or 4 years now, and it is one of the ones that you can put up and take down. It is not a permanent structure. I have it beside my fences, so it does help with some of the wind, but the structure itself, after being reinforced, has worked out really well for me. I don't have any holes in it that I can tell. There are 2 doors, one in the front, one in the back. Both can be lifted up. They both come with netting so that you can lift the door up to let airflow come through, but bugs and things don't get in. There are also windows on each side, 3 windows on each side of the greenhouse, which also helps with airflow. I'm not able to lift all 6 of mine up, but I am still able to grow in here during the warm temperatures and when we are cold. Of course, you want to grow the things that should be grown in that time. I also have garden beds from Quick Tent. They're good for small spaces, so they're not really big and really tall. They're kind of compact for small spaces. So if you're growing in a small space, you may want to look into their garden beds as well. And also, in case you're interested in other things, like they have chicken coops, the metal chicken coops. They also have tents if you're throwing a party. They have other things aside from things for gardeners. So if you are interested, and you hear that wind, we're in this greenhouse and it's taking the wind, y'all. Perfect timing for this. Anyway, if you're interested in looking into Quick Tent, seeing what they offer, there's gonna be a link down in my description, and I wanna thank Quick Tent once again for sponsoring this video. It just started raining, y'all. I knew it was gonna rain today, but I was like, this is the perfect day where I can go out here and get my zucchini and squash into the garden. So let me show you which ones we are growing. Some of them are for small spaces, spaces. Some of them, I didn't even check to see if they were for small spaces. So we're gonna see how this goes. I'm going to try to trellis or stake them, the ones that need it. Some of them don't need it though. So this is an Emerald Delight. This is a smaller variety. So when I say a smaller variety, it grows compact. The zucchini are not small, but it grows like a compact plant. And so I grew this last year, I'm pretty sure in here. And I also grew these last year in the green stock. So they were very prolific. You got a lot of flowers and I got a nice harvest from them. So I'm pretty excited about these. They're from Botanical Interest. And so this is a scallop variety and I've never grown it before. I think someone sent seeds and that's where I got that from. So I'm excited to try that. And then Acosta Romanesco. So listen, I just think they're very pretty. I've never eaten them before. I don't think I've successfully grown them either. So I'm hopeful that these grow really well. Also, these have 42 to 60 days of maturity. So we should start getting squash really quickly with this variety. I think the Emerald Delight is the same, 50 to 55. So that's really cool. I need them to mature quickly before it gets too hot and before the squash vine borers find their way here. We're doing another scallop squash. I have never had success with scallop squash. So I'm very much hoping that I can grow a scallop squash. I don't know that I've ever eaten scallop squash either, but I think they're really cool looking. So I'm hoping that I can grow them this year and I can taste them. Hopefully I like them and I can keep growing them because they're really cool looking. And then we're gonna do this, which I've never done. I've never grown either. But also, I think it's just a cool looking squash. And so I'm hoping that it also tastes delicious. So that's what we're doing. And right now we only need 6 of these. That's a mess. Let's see. So we might go ahead and plant this shorter one too, because what I don't want to do is leave these squash in the container. It said that it's better if squash is direct sown because they don't like their roots disturbed. I said it in another video that I don't direct sow a lot of things because I don't remember to come out and keep the soil where the seeds are moist. And so when it comes to squash, I do start them inside or in trays, but I try to get them out as soon as I can, get them planted out as soon as I can. I also try to make sure that I only have 1 squash per sale, just so that when I take these out, I'm not having to separate them or anything like that. And if I do have 2 to a sale, I just cut one of them. Maybe I'll try separating them. I think I've done it before. I think it worked, but I can't 100% remember. So with that being the case, oh, I was about to say, did I say ain't no hole? It's coming off of this. Anyway, so you see the roots are slightly coming out, but that's also a good thing when you have a root pruning tray. So we are at a perfect time to go ahead and plant these out. You can see we have some true leaves coming in. So a perfect time to plant them out. I would plant them out even if we didn't have true leaves. As soon as these seed leaves came out, I would plant them out just to avoid any kind of root disturbance. So I just recently amended these beds, right? And squash are heavy feeders. So the only thing I'm going to put into the hole is a little more granulated fertilizer. Squash are also flowering plants. So you need the flower in order to get the vegetable. I don't have any bone meal. I would have done bone meal. I also am working to get my worms to move into another tray so that I can harvest the tray of worm castings, but I have not done that. And someone did ask me if I can do a video, and I absolutely will. So I have at this point started feeding another tray so that they can move out of that tray that's full and ready so that I can harvest them. I would also put worm castings in the hole if I had some, but I don't right now. So with that being the case, I'm just gonna put a little extra granulated fertilizer and then I will fertilize these with a balanced fertilizer. Okay, so I'm going to do the Emerald Delight right here. Basically, this is supposed to be for the Roselle and for the Zinnia. My Roselle is still pretty small and I have time. Roselle also likes the heat. If you remember last year, the Roselle grew really well. If you were here last year, the Roselle grew really well once they got warm and really hot in here. I think that we have some time to get the Roselle planted out. We are going to put 2 into this bed. Not really sure what the size of this bed is, but zucchini plants can get large. Even though this is a compact plant, it still got pretty big. So we're gonna put 2 in this bed, 3 in the other, 3 in this one, and I feel like we still gonna have some left. But we don't have a option to do anything with them at the moment because I really don't want to plant in the really hot bed. Now, if you remember, we amended this soil. It's looking much better than it was, so we like that. Just trying to see what we got going on in here. Yeah, I think we're good. It moves through pretty easy. I'm just breaking it up because it has been in here sitting, but it is moist. You can see now that it's moist. I'm also gonna put a little more straw on here. This is the bed my dog got into after I amended it, so I had to come back through and the straw was pretty mixed in. All right, I feel comfortable with this bed. We had some kind of brassica growing. I don't know what it was, but went ahead and pulled that out because we want to give the space to the zucchini. And I'm gonna grab some nasturtiums. I'm probably just gonna drop maybe 2 nasturtiums in each bed because nasturtiums get really big, but also very pretty too. And they like cooler temperatures too, but they've been in the greenhouse, so I'm gonna mix those in. Can feed the soil. Yeah, everything looks good. I'm excited to see that because this bed has given me a lot of trouble. Cannot remember what soil I used in it. I can go back and look. Let's get to planting. So like I said, we're just gonna throw a little bit of granulated fertilizer. This is the fertilizer I've been using this year because I got it on sale. So we're gonna drop some down in the hole. We're gonna mix it in. In a week or so, I'll come back and we will fertilize these plants with a liquid fertilizer. So this is the Emerald Delight. We got it all out. We haven't disturbed the roots. Whoa, we just disturbed the roots. I watered these the other day. I still don't think it's gonna be a big deal when I say that because I didn't like tear the roots. The roots are still intact. So we got Emerald Delight here, and I am going to add the label just so that I know which one did the best. We also have some that I want to put out into the garden, so I'm gonna try to keep them in the trays. Even if I have to pot it up, I'll just pot them up. But if I'm gonna pot them up, I need to pot them up now, and I'm probably gonna pot them up into a 3.3-inch pot. And so I just put in some granulated fertilizer, and now we're going to grab the other one. So I'm just squeezing and then I'm pushing up and just grabbing it. It's easier if they're dry to not lose soil and to just quickly move them. That's another thing. I'm gonna water this in so that if there's any air between the roots and that root ball that I just put in there and the soil that's in the bed, it can basically be closed up with the water. And we are basically going to see how this goes. Last year it went well. Hopefully it'll go well this year as well. Over in this bed, we're gonna do the Costa Romanesco. And so we actually have 4 of these. I'm gonna try to do 4 in here. And honestly, I could probably, either way, we have way more than we need at this very moment. Let's stick to 3 like we say it. Let's stick to 3. Now, if you remember, we also added some stuff to this bed, just breaking it up. This bed is still a problem. What is going on here? And I guess I didn't water well in here. I don't know. It's also dry. This is real, like how it goes sometime. And maybe we won't plant this one. Maybe we'll water it. Y'all, I gotta go back and see what soil I used in these beds. I mean, I have fought them ever since I set them up. But yeah, we're not gonna plant in these today. In this today. Very ashy looking. Broke say that, ashy soil. The other bed did not look like this. All right, we're gonna forego planting in here right now, which is maybe a good thing because it was supposed to be tomatoes anyway, because I wanted to plant tomatoes early, which I still may be able to. Let me water this bed. This might be on me, y'all, honestly. Maybe I wasn't watering well enough, because it's very, very dry. All right, sometimes your plans get changed. Maybe mixing the straw in will help too. Okay, we're gonna leave that be for now, and the Costa Romanesco can go in the bed that you're sitting in right now. All right, let's do that. There's a tomato volunteering in here. I don't know what kind of tomato it is. I only want patio tomatoes in here because the tomatoes I tried last year did not work well. This soil is fine. All right, so Costa Romanesco. So we're gonna put 3 Costa Romanescos in here. Nice roots as well. And we're gonna drop it down in there. All right. And we're gonna just move on down. Oh darn, I forgot to put some extra granulated fertilizer, so let me grab that too. Yeah, and this soil isn't warm either. Okay, nice. Drop that in there. Just a little bit. I don't really measure,
Costa Romanesco. Nice. And one more down here. And there we go. Lots of tags in here. Okay, we love that. And I'm not gonna add any more straw in here because the straw was pretty good. And I'm gonna go grab some nasturtiums. And I'm just gonna put 2 in here, probably 2 in there, and see what happens. I would like them to come out over the bed, so we'll see.
Okay, so I grabbed the jewel mixed nasturtiums. Of course, you don't see any flowers or anything now, but they're gonna be beautiful. So I'm gonna plant them really close to the edge because I'm hoping that they will come over, which is odd for me to hope considering they're in the greenhouse. I'm gonna have to get past them, but I think it'll be pretty. So let us do some digging. And I'm also gonna drop some extra granulated fertilizer into this hole too. I don't have any bone meal or any blood meal. I did try to go find some bone meal, but I only went to one store whose app said they had it in stock, but they did not. So with that being the case, same situation. These are plants that they say that you should plant from seed but direct sow, but I also start them inside. And for me, in order to know that I'm gonna have what I need and to not have to keep replanting stuff, that's another reason why I like to start things inside as well. There's a few reasons. The biggest one though is because I don't remember to come and moisten the seeds to make sure that I get germination. This is what we're gonna put in here. Kind of works out too that I can't plant that other bed because we get a little bit of shade from whatever is in that bed. These will have some time to grow before I do plant that bed out. That's cool too. If I end up planting it with squash at this point or zucchini, I may just wait until it's time to put the tomatoes in. I don't know. Things can change. All right, and now off to this one. And you know, maybe I'll plant these nasturtiums to the back just because it's literally right in the front. And we had that issue before when we had the stinging nettle in here and it was just all beside the opening, and I didn't enjoy that. We will put them in the back. And like, I don't know if the jewel mix is a runner or not. I don't remember. But if it is, we also have a trellis in here. So we could run it up the trellis if necessary. These needed to be watered. So it's perfect that I'm putting these out. They definitely need to be watered. I need to check the stuff in the greenhouse now that I'm seeing these needed to be watered. I'll take this one a little bit further this way. It's interesting how I did the exact same things to these beds, and that bed back there is terrible. And I mean, I watered the greenhouse at the same way too. It doesn't matter. Drop that one in, and it is raining. So probably gonna go inside. By the way, I'll put a post up, a community post up asking this question too. If you're interested in seeing freeze dried content, leave a comment here on like what you would like to know. I'll share what I already know, but if there's anything else that someone really wants to know, let me know. You know, now that I'm thinking about that, when these squash, what is this, zucchini get tall, they may actually shade those nasturtiums out. We'll see. Already in the bed now. But I'm leaving a lot of space. It looks like there's a lot of space in these beds, but zucchini plants and squash plants get really big. And so for me, I'm okay to leave this space because after a while, you're gonna notice you're not gonna be able to actually see the soil much at all. I said it must have been the wind, must have been the wind, must have been the wind, must have been the wind. So we have these left. Now, what I will tell you is, I think my broccoli is going to be ready soon, so it may be time to kind of think about what's going in there too. But I am more than likely just going to pot these up into the 3.3-inch trays so that they can keep growing. And I must have done 2 because the seeds were older. So with these, we're going to snip one, and maybe we'll try separating one too, just to see what happens. So yeah, let's water this really quick. And then I'm going to take just some time tomorrow to stand in here and water these. I think water this bed like really well tomorrow. And if I remember, we added some good soil into this when we amended it this time. That old soil ain't playing no games. Taking over, y'all. Taking over. Oh, an ant. There are ants in here this year. They're not really bad, so I'm not worrying about them. But there are ants in here this year, just so you know. But not like years before where a whole video was dedicated to getting the ants out. So I'm happy about that. Don't know where they're going and what they're doing, but maybe tomorrow morning while I drink my coffee, I'll just stand here and water well and then cover it with a little more straw. Yeah, did exactly the same thing. That's what I'm saying in gardening, right? Like, you could do the exact same thing
everything in the exact same spaces and the results not be the exact same. Now, I know those beds and that bed back there, I don't think it was started with the same soil as these two, because these two were my first 2 beds in here. All right, let me get the water, y'all. All right, so now I'm just gonna water really well around this plant, like focusing on the plant. Because the soil is already moist, I just want to get around the plant, and it's gonna kind of look like I'm flooding it. That's what I do, just to make sure any air pockets are cleared up after watering. I have not noticed that it hurts the plant the first time. And like I said, I'm gonna get some straw, but I'll probably do that in the morning too, because the straw is on the other side of the garden. And like I said, it is raining. All right, that's done. We're gonna move on to this one. All right, so just like that, we have planted out our first round of squash, our first round of zucchini, and our first round of nasturtiums. I'm super excited. So zucchini is a plant that they tell you to succession sow. So like sow 1 week and then wait 2 weeks and then sow again and then sow in another 2 weeks. There are these things called squash vine borers. And if you are in my area, I know that we fight with it. And I know that there are places who have never had to deal with a squash vine borer. So in our area, yeah, they tell you to succession sow it. That way, once the squash vine borer finds one plant, you still have other plants that still could possibly produce. I'm not doing that this year. I'm gonna plant now, and then I'm gonna plant basically end of summer, early fall. That is my plan for squash and zucchini this year. If you have an issue with squash vine borer, what's your plan for protecting it from squash vine borer? I'm not doing that, but I know a lot of people do. Or you plan for succession sowing. How are you planning to do it? Or are you one of those people who says, I'm just not planting squash anymore? Let me know down in the comments. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to visit me over on Instagram, where I post about the things going on in my garden almost every day. Bye, y'all. Whose app said they had it in